What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm out here today. We're working on this trailer here, replacing the spring hangers and stuff, the suspension on it, and doing some grinding. And today's topic is, can you use a Harbor Freight buffer as a grinder? So if you are Safety Sally, this video is not for you. Go ahead and click away now. You will not like what you're going to see. I do not recommend anyone doing this. This is just for demonstration purposes only, and to answer the question, can it be done? You know, if you were stranded on an island, life or death situation, maybe you had a Harbor Freight buffer in your bag when you got stranded on the island, and maybe you had a welder buddy or somebody that was stranded with you, had a couple of grinding discs off a job site that he stole or something, off a pipeline job. And so y'all meet up and you need to do some grinding, do some well repair, that sort of situation. You gotta have pretty creative imagination when you're thinking about this stuff. Anyway, we're gonna get to work here, and some guys love to run their grinders without guards. I like guards on my grinders, but in this case, there's not gonna be one today. So here's what we got going on. This is the Harbor Freight electric 7-inch polisher. I bought this to polish the or buff out the hood on my big truck, and I buffed my tractor out with it as well. Could not find the handle for it, but I found the handle for my 4-inch DeWalt grinder. I only have one 4.5-inch grinding disc from my DeWalt grinder left. And you see this mess I got here, and that just eats some 4.5-inch disc up. I've got a couple of 9. I've got a flat 9 and this cup 9. This cup 9, as you can see, is cupped, and it cuts on the outer edge only. And that's pretty useful for when you're cutting stuff like this. You tilt it up on the edge and cut into it like this and grind into it that way. So, as I say, I don't recommend trying this, and if I had to guess, this is not going to last very long doing this, but I have one job to do with it. I've got 2 more to do here, and that thing's like 50 bucks. So I already have it. I already have the grinding disc. I don't want to drive uptown and all that stuff. If I burn it up, it ain't but $50. If I have to go buy a new one, 7-inch grinder, it's probably going to cost me close to $200. So I don't really have to have a polisher anyway, and if I do, I can pick another one up for 50 bucks. So not the other world. Anyway, I'm gonna go grab some safety glasses. I already got earplugs in, and set you guys up over here, and we're gonna see what this thing will do. All right, guys, one more thing I forgot to mention. The RPM on this polisher is 3,500 max, and the RPM on this 9-inch disc here is rated at 6,600 max. So we are in safe RPM range of this disc. That's important. You can spin them faster than recommended, but there's a high risk that they will blow up and become shrapnel and can lodge into your chest or legs or other regions. So you want to make sure, if you're doing dumb stuff like this, you're at least doing that part right, and make sure the maximum recommended RPM, you're not exceeding that. So I'm going to set you up over here, and we're going to put some gloves on, because if you're doing dumb stuff like using a grinder with no guard or a polisher as a grinder, then you need some gloves. At least a little protection, you know? So anyway, let me get you guys set up over here. We'll get started. I'm going to zoom you in here. And this is even extra unsafe because this polisher does not have a trigger that you squeeze. It has a on-off right here, and then you dial your RPM up right here. So dial it up to 3,500. we strip the gears in the head. Alright guys, so now we're going to do even something even more unsafe. We've got the 7-inch polisher here that was just burned up. This thing's going in the garbage now. It wasn't the greatest anyway, but it did work. Now it doesn't. And we're going to put this on a 4.5-inch DeWalt grinder, which is I think 10,000 RPMs. Let's see, 11,000 RPMs. So yeah, this is really unsafe. Really not recommended. And we very well may burn this up as well. But if we do, we do. I've got just a little bit more left in this spot right here, and then I've got one more spring hanger to grind. And I'm gonna not hold this thing wide open. I'm probably just gonna go on and off with the trigger as to try not to overspeed this too much for too long. I'd rather it not blow up on me. Now the grinder starts to burn. Gotta let this grinder cool down just a little bit. Smell it. Don't want to let the magic smoke out just yet. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put the last 4.5 inch disc I got off. Put this back in there on the shelf. I don't want to finish burning my grinder up before I get done. I think that one 4.5 inch disc I got will finish that up. And then I will have to do something a little different. burnt the grinder up. I knew it was coming. I let the smoke out. The grinding disc is gone too. Yeehaw! Oh well. That grinder's not made for being used like that. But it's been a good one. That grinder is probably 6 or 8 years old. I'm not even sure really. But I'm going to pick up a couple of new grinders, I guess. A 4.5 and probably a 7. But I got the majority of it knocked out. Those little 4.5-inch discs don't do very much. As you can see, it's pretty well chewed up. Just that little bit of grinding. Depending on what you're working on, if you're doing light grinding, they'll last a long time. But when you get into something heavy like that and you're really trying to put pressure on it and make it cut and not spend all day, not really the tool for the job. Alright, so I got all but this little bit right here. And I'll probably go get a couple grinders. I don't use a grinder that often, but when I do, I usually overuse that grinder, and I'm really surprised it's lasted as long as it has, because it's getting to the point that when you use it, like it would get really hot even through gloves. So I knew it was kind of on the last days of its life, last leg, so to speak. So I'm not too upset about that. Anyway, I hope you guys, if you were curious about whether you could use a polisher as a grinder, the short answer is, if you only have just a small amount of grinding to do and it's an emergency situation and you don't care about burning up your grinder or polisher, yes, you can. Otherwise, no, you can't. Not going to last very long, as you can tell. But as I say, I did get all 6, all but just that little bit done. And I'm going to go to grab some new grinders and finish this up, and I'll be ready to weld in the new spring hangers and everything on this trailer. And hope you guys enjoyed the little video at my expense. Alright guys, just got back from Lowe's Blows with a new grinder, and this is what I picked up. It's just a 4.5-inch. This is 11 amp. The one that we let the smoke out of is a 10 amp version. I guess just the older one. This is about a $80, 90, well I think it might be $90 grinder. I think it was 90 bucks at Lowe's. Anyway, it's got the heavier head on it. I picked up a couple of these Norton grinding discs. They were about $7 a piece. They're a little bit overpriced, but that's what I got. And all I like is really this right here, finishing that up, and I'll be ready to mount the spring hangers on here. So I did not pick up a 7-inch grinder. I looked at one. They had a really heavy 7-inch grinder, but the size of it, it just almost makes sense just to buy a 9-inch grinder, because I got a couple of 9-inch discs and they only had one 7-inch disc in stock anyways, so it didn't make a whole lot of sense to buy a 7-inch grinder with one 7-inch disc. And this is the only grinding I like on this project, other than some finishing up stuff. This is the main metal removal that I got on this project. So I'm thinking I might just pick up a 9-inch grinder at some point before I do another project or whatever to have on hand. But this old DeWalt that I burned up, this thing has been around for a minute. I'm really surprised I hadn't already burned it up. We did some heavy grinding with that thing there. We ground, me and my friend, we did that dump trailer project on that hydraulic cylinder. We ground probably 3 hours non-stop, heavy grinding with that thing on the end of that hydraulic cylinder that they did welding on and messed it all up. Those of you who have seen those videos know what I'm talking about. But anyway, the trailer was turned over. Long story short, cylinder end broke off. Somebody welded it back on. The cylinder was too wide, and he bought it at auction not knowing, so we ground it down, got it put back together. Come to find out, the cylinder was damaged and it blew out. He had to buy a new cylinder anyway. But anyway, so this grinder's been through a whole lot of stuff in its life, and I've definitely used it for way more stuff than you should use a 4.5-inch grinder for. So I'm not mad that I burned it up or anything. I just kind of want to get a new one anyhow. So we got a new one. We'll get it set up here, and I'm going to finish grinding this off and then wrap this video up, and I will start on the next video for the trailer. We're working on the spring hangers and stuff. So I'm going to set you guys up here. We'll do a little grind to test out this new 4.5 inch here, and then I'll wrap the video up. Alright, that should be all the grinding I need to do right there. It seems to work pretty good. Let's see if it got hot. That's starting to warm up just a little bit, but not nothing major. Had that other one over there so hot before that you couldn't hold on to it even with gloves hardly, doing heavy grinding. But those 4.5s work really good for holding up, grinding on stuff like that. But as far as flat grinding, when you need to put some heavy pressure and do some heavy cutting, they're not really up to the task. But anyway, so if you like this type stuff and you want to see the rest of this trailer build and whatnot that I'm working on, go ahead and click the like and comment and subscribe, all of those, and we'll see you guys in the next video.